Hello, young citizens of the world. We are so happy and honored today to speak with the one and only Ringo Starr, a true icon of peace, rhythm, and joy. Of course, Ringo Starr is a legendary musician. He was the Beatles drummer, and he has an extraordinary solo career as a musician, as a singer. And he's just put out a country album called Look Up. But today we are talking to Ringo Starr, the humanitarian. Imagine that. For the last 17 years, Ringo has been dedicating his July 7th anniversary to promote peace. He will celebrate with friends and musicians in Los Angeles. They will pay tribute to Ringo's career and message. And meanwhile, people all over the world will also organize peace and love events as well. And wow, NASA will once again amplify Ringo's message of peace and love across the solar system, posting from outer space and reminding us that peace is a universal mission. And that's not all. Ringo and his wife Barbara founded the Lotus Foundation, a charitable organization that funds and promotes a wide variety of charitable projects, including those in the fields of substance abuse, cerebral palsy, brain tumors, cancer, battered women and their children, homelessness, animals in need, water aid, and the environment. This powerful work reminds us that his message of peace is not just a slogan, it is action. We're so proud that today, wherever you are in the world, you get to ask Ringo Starr a question in this special moment that we will never forget. Hello, Sir Ringo Starr. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good morning or afternoon or evening to everybody out there. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Where are you in the world at the moment?
At the moment, I'm in California. I'm in LA. We live now in LA. We've lived in many countries, but now we live in LA.
Beautiful California.
Yeah.
I myself am in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and we will speak to children from all over the world. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, so let's start here in Canada with a question from Michael. He's from Cloverdale Catholic School in Surrey, British Columbia.
Hi, my name is Michael from the student leadership of Cloverdale Catholic School. And my question is, what inspired you to start the global peace and love tradition on your birthday?
It was crazy, really, that I was on tour with the All-Stars, Ringo and the All-Stars, and we were doing interviews around about the 4th and 5th of July. And one of the interviewers said to me, well, what would you like, to happen on your birthday? What would you like the fans to get? And I don't know where it came from. I just said, you know what? I'd like at noon, everybody went peace and love. And that's how it started. I mean, it wasn't a big plan. And then we'll say this. It just said, let's do that. And we started in Chicago. I think what the little cakes were that we were giving them out to the 100 people that were there. And they were on eBay that night for $50. That's what happened, and that's what prompted me to do it. Give him a drum lesson, tell him.
Oh, wow. That would be lovely. That would be amazing. And we are now going to South America in Argentina. We're going to meet Juanjo, who's a student and aspiring journalist from Buenos Aires.
Y soy argentina. Y déjeme contarle que de chiquito soy muy fan de los Beatles, así que para mí es un honor máximo poderme estar ahí con ustedes. Y mi pregunta era, ¿qué opina usted sobre la música como herramienta para difundir la paz y la conexión sobre el mundo? Me despido y mando un abrazo grande desde Argentina y Latinoamérica.
Well, music, came into my life pretty early, and I come from, the city of Liverpool in England, and it's very musical because it's a port. And a lot of the lads that lived in the neighborhood were merchant seamen, and they'd go back and bring records back from America and wherever. And anyway, then I got very ill with tuberculosis. I was in hospital, and in those days, they just let you lay in bed for months. And, they'd have teachers come in to pass some of the time away with us. And one of the teachers brought in tambourines and triangles and this little drum. And she pointed to the yellow dot of music, you hit the drum, or the red, you'd hit the triangle. Anyway, it was very simple. And I knew from that moment on, I wanted to be a drummer. It was far out. And guess what happened? I became one. And so anyway, I finished up in the hospital. I got out before I was 15. And around about 16, I had to start going to work. And my stepdad, the best stepdad in the world, Harry, he got me a drum. Because I was making my own drums with biscuit tins and putting like little bits of metal on for the snare. And so I had this real drum. And within weeks, I was working in a factory then. Within weeks, this guy next door where I lived was in the factory, and my best friend was in this factory. And the guy next door was a great guitarist, just one of those guys that came naturally. And my friend, we formed a skiffle group, which was an upright bass. It's like a big box, a pole, and just one string, and this guy playing good guitar. So I was playing brushes on the snare, making it up. I hadn't had no lessons. We just went ahead and did it. And that's what started me off to be a musician. I was still working in the factory, and Liverpool was like 1,000 bands in Liverpool in the late 50s. And I was in a couple of other bands. Then I ended up at this band, Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. And we were the biggest band in Liverpool at that time. And we'd go places. We'd go to American bases in France, we'd play. Germany, of course, we'd play. We all went there. And it just became, that's what I do. And we were offered a 3-month gig in Butlin's holiday camp. And I left the factory and became a musician. That's it. And I changed my name. And we played for 3 months at this holiday camp. And though the foreman of the factory said, "You'll be back, Starkey." As I was lucky, I didn't have to go back. And that's what started it. So then I was a professional drummer because that was my job then, and played with a few bands. And then, of course, the end of the story. I was asked to join the best band in the land. It turned out to be the best band in the land after I joined.
Of course, because you brought your magic. And I guess the question was also, how did you realize that music was a great vehicle for peace and connection?
Well, I think it's a great connection because music, it captures the heart and soul of people around the world. I just feel it's important. And you did mention that we started this Peace and Love moment on noon on July the 7th, Peace and Love. And now we're in, I think, 28 countries now celebrate Peace and Love. What's great, it is getting bigger. It's so great. And little gangs of people, a lot of people, they're all different sizes, not like an order thing. And how great, that at noon, and you mentioned the guys in outer space. I wonder what time it is really for them.
It's any time you want.
Yeah, we don't know. And so my dream came true. I'm a musician, and I got to play with really good bands, and we became the biggest band in the land. And I'm still doing what I love to do, is play. And this week I'm getting ready because Sunday I go on tour again, with the All-Stars. And so I'm still doing it because I just love to play. One thing my mother said, I always feel you're at your happiest, love, when you're playing your drums. How great.
It is wonderful. Music is certainly magical.
Music is great, yeah. You know,
Yes.
this is not the biggest studio in the world. This is my little studio, but I've had a lot of great players here, made a lot of records here, you know, had a lot of fun here.
What's the star behind you? There's a beautiful star behind
No, not one of my paintings.
you.
Yeah, I did that. I was doing spin art.
Very cool. Spinning the paint.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a little abstract because you just put blobs of paint on the cutout wooden star and then turn the motor on and it spins round, and that's what we got for that one. So I've actually got quite a few of those things.
They're
That's
wonderful.
where it comes from. That's what's great if you're open-minded. Where that came from years ago on the internet, these couple of kids were actually putting paint on a canvas like 10 by 8, say, and strapping it to the house drill. You know, and that was the first time I saw it. I thought, how great! You know, I love the abstract feeling to it too. I mean, I love it when it turns out good like that. That's why I hang it up. And so another thing I do when I'm here, when I'm not playing, I like to paint. And another thing I like to do, I go to the gym. And
that's why you're so in shape.
Yeah, there's something next door. So this is my little living space. I have the studio, I have an art room, and I have the gym. And I'm blessed. Next question, come on.
Yes, let's do it. So you are promoting peace, and this will resonate very strongly for you because we are going to Ukraine. This is a pre-tape question. As you know, Ukraine has been facing war for the last 3 years. So let's hear from teacher Lyubov and her daughter Tetiana.
We are in Ukraine and we still suffer from bombings every single day.
What is one moment in your life when you truly felt peace and love win over division?
There's certain moments that I just feel at peace with everything. You know, it's an interesting question, but, you know, I promote it and I try and live in a peaceful way. And that's all I can really tell you about that.
Mm-hmm. By thinking about peace, by promoting peace, you feel peaceful yourself.
I mean, I love it when my birthday and then we go around and, you know, see the other countries. I mean, it just makes my heart feel great that there's more people doing it probably this year, we hope, in a month's time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's just one of those things that become part of me. On that day, I do that. And, you know, you couldn't do it anything for a better cause in my eyes than for peace.
Absolutely. Let's go all the way to China now. Let's meet Livia, a high school student from Shanghai. This, again, is a pre-tape question.
Hello, Sir Ringo. My name is Livia, and I'm a high school student from Shanghai, China. Which of your songs do you hope young people will still be singing 100 years from now?
Well, I think A Little Help from My Friends would be a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's just a true fact. We get on with our friends and, you know, we can have joy with them. And, you know, I mean, for me, I sing that song every night and the reaction is so great. And it's sort of uplifting. You know,
we are nothing without the others.
Yeah.
And we are one.
Yeah, in actuality, we are one, but we're a little separated right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. So true. We're going to Africa now. In Malawi, teacher Pike Noma is an eco-warrior in Malawi, and he has a question for you.
Hello, Sir Singo. This is Malawi. if you could just spend just one day teaching a classroom with full of future world leaders,
what would you teach them?
Well, leaders. I don't know. I think that's a bit above my station.
No, like I guess what he's saying is if you could teach a class of future leaders, children, what would you like to teach them to make this world a better place and for them to have a better life?
Well, for all of that to happen, peace and love is a good answer to it, and helping and being kind to each other, and being peaceful. I mean, it's just thing that I'm allowed to do. It's really so great that I can. My day starts and I can put it where I want. Sometimes I put it where I want, and then something else comes. And I truly believe in making right turns. When you were talking about my country record, that's a right turn record. I had no plans. I was doing a pop rock record. I met T-Bone at this gathering that Olivia Harrison was having for her book of poems to George, and there's like 50 of us there. And I knew a T-Bone I've met before. And I said, "Hey, T-Bone, how you doing? What's blah, blah, blah?" And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm making EPs through the pandemic. And, if you have a song, send it to me and we'll see." And he sent me the most beautiful country song. And I thought, "Oh, let's do a country EP." And I did a country EP. Then he came to visit, and we were talking and about songs. I said, "Well, how many songs have you got?" And he went, in his pocket, 9.
Wow. That's an album.
You couldn't plan that. That's just like something that happened. And I decided to take the right turn and ask him, would he want to produce, a country record on me? And he said yes. And that was no plan at all, but made the right moves and came out with a great album.
Yes, because you have the freedom and the will and the love to do it. And now we're going to come back all the way to Canada for a last question.
I'm Bella.
Bonjour, I'm Omar.
And we're from Canada, filling in for our friends in New Zealand. Kia ora. We want to wish you a happy early birthday filled with peace and love.
Our question for you today is, if you could speak with your younger self, what would you tell him?
Relax.
Why?
Well, you're growing up and you're learning, and you're in school, and there's like a lot of people you have to work your way through. And in my case, some of them I had to hide from. And it's easy now to say, everything was great, but there were some, rough moments in my life. And, where it is now is incredible. I mean, it was incredible in the late 50s for me, even just being in a band. I was doing something I only wanted to do, was play. And, the drummer needs a guitarist or a bass player. And, I have a lot of grandkids now, and, they're all in their schools doing what their schools are wanting them to do. And they've got granddad behind them telling them, be musicians, lads. And I've got like 5 drummers of grandchildren, 5 of them out of the 10 grandkids I have. And, I just love music, and I just try and pass it on I pass it on to the family. I'm not going to stand in the middle of a square saying, "Come on, get your banjos out."
Mm-hmm.
But I would recommend to anybody in any school, anywhere, at least try 6 music lessons in your school and see if it may just do something to you that moves you in that musical direction.
It sure can bring so much joy and peace. Ringo Starr, it was so wonderful to be able to speak with you today. Before we let you go, is there a final message you'd like to share with our young citizens of the world listening right now?
Well, the young citizens now, and soon they will be the generation of young men and women. And the next step up is a place on the planet. And, try and stay with something you love to do. That's all I can ever tell anybody, really. Just if you love it, stay with it. Who knew I was going to end up here talking to you?
And we're so grateful and happy. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. Thank you for all the students participating today. And we invite all the students and teachers around the world to hold peace and love events at noon, your local time, on July 7th, Ringo's birthday, and use the hashtag Peace and Love Day to post your celebrations. So now, all of you, let's all shout peace and love.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much.
Love you all.